Hey everybody, thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to continue working on my Parrot's Beak in ice cream containers. And the amount of work I'm actually doing is fairly minimal, mostly just cutting off the long leggy growth because Parrot's Beak is prone to that. And then another thing I'm doing is I'm studying the trees to see which ones I want to put into bonsai pots in the spring, and which ones need a little more work. I've also determined that some of the larger ones could actually be grown out to be even larger trees. So the first one today is a short little squat guy. As you can see, he's got a little stumpy trunk, and then we've got a huge trunk chop right here. And it's got some confusion up in the top. So today it's just going to be a little haircut. And I really think that this guy needs some more time. There's another huge trunk chop. See, and you can do that. Like I said, I think I talked in the other video, a tree that was very nice that I could have taken down to this. And you're basically starting over, which doesn't make any sense to me. But if you watch my video on digging Parrot's Beak out from under the bench, which you can watch right here in the upper right, you'll see that I chopped some of those way down because because I wanted to. They were growing up into the bench and causing tremendous amount of confusion of which plant was which, and they were just a pain in the butt, so I cut them all out of there, and they're all doing fine. I should probably do a update video on those guys. And as is the case a lot of times when I've got a plant in a training pot that has a front or a front, I'm not so sure that this isn't the front here. We have bar branches, but we can solve that by just taking this one off. Then we have first main branch, second main branch, apex. So that's definitely seems to be the way to go with this guy. And we could even go this way, although there's a huge scar, which once again we could turn it into uro. But I think the other way, I like it the other way anyway. So this is I think I'm just going to take that branch off right now because it's such a bar branch and it just hurts my eyeballs. There. So first branch, second branch, apex, little tiny tree. I don't think this is going to go into a bonsai pot. We're going to give it some more time to develop. Number 2 is an interesting tree. Let me get some of these leaves out of here and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's almost like it's got a split here. And if you look, it's fairly obvious that, let me use my scissors. All right here, inside here, this is all dead. So do I accentuate that or do I do a different front? Either way, this is also not going to be a subject for a bonsai pot in the spring. He needs to be grown on too. So just give it the haircut. And even though this tree has, that's a kind of a funky little feature, I think it could still produce a decent tree over time. Not really sure if I want to accentuate the dead scar. Although the branches, first and second main branch, are placed much better as far as 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So for now we're just going to grow it on. And it'll still be a fairly small tree, so this will not be repotted into a larger pot to become bigger. It'll just stay in this pot and just continue to develop it. Tree number 3 is considerably taller, and it reminds me of some of those that I've decided to put into larger pots. The first 2 were just little tiny guys like this, but this guy's a good 10 inches high now. And as with a lot of them, There's not a lot of taper here. It has decent movement up into here and into here. We've got an apex and we've got some branching, but I really think it needs to become a larger tree. So this one's on the, put it into a bigger pot and allow it to grow into a larger tree group. And there's some things that need to change, like if we bring it closer we see that there's parallel branches here. This branch could probably come off. There's some confusion in here. This branch here is coming from the inside of the curve, which I normally remove because I want my branches coming from the outside of the curve. But for now, I think just giving it the chop, you got to take it back so you can see it better, is all I'm going to do for today. So this is another one that's going to go into a larger training pot and be allowed to grow bigger. This tree here is a very interesting tree because it just really has no side branching. It's just super tall and thin. It's like a skinny mini. And we have a sacrifice branch, which I think I will keep, but if we take the sacrifice branch away, it just hasn't produced any side branches, which is really rather interesting. It does have decent movement, but it's another one that does not have a lot of taper. And so this could very interesting, not very interesting. I got distracted by the squirrels. They jump out of my trees and run across my fence. So I think this is another one that could very easily be grown into a bigger tree. And it's so interesting how, we've seen, there's a certain sameness to a lot of these. And then we get the little stumpy ones, and then we get ones like this that just have not produced any side branching. So that's always interesting. Oh, and I didn't even realize it, but this pot has also blown out. So off camera, I'll give it a new pot, which is just a matter of getting another ice cream container, poking drain holes. You see I poke drain holes basically with these scissors. Just from when the pot is empty, you go from the inside, and you can see the drain holes fairly easily that they're these scissors. So I'll give him a new pot off camera. Tree number 5 is, I think I've decided to put this in a bonsai pot. I'm thinking to myself, I've got to choose one to go into a bonsai pot. And I like the movement. It's got a scar there, it's no big deal. It also has very little growth up here, but it has a whole bunch of growth on the top. But I think, like I said, I'm making an excuse to put this one in a bonsai pot. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm actually wearing a sweatshirt today because it is cold. It's cold and I'm a wimp. I hate cold. I grew up, if you read my about on my channel, I called my channel Woodcrest Bonsai because Woodcrest was the neighborhood where I grew up as a kid in the suburb of Chicago. And I hated the Chicago winters. I'm in zone 10 and I have some subscribers and some listeners that live in like zone 8 and zone 7, but Chicago is zone 3, minus 20 below. It's like, oh. Of course, as a child, I didn't even know the rest of the world existed. So I came down here in 1976 to go to college, and I never did live in Chicago again. Great place to visit in the summer, but you can take the winters and do with them whatever you like. But this is a pretty nice tree, so I think I'm going to put it in a bonsai pot, whether it wants to or not. And actually, we're supposed to be getting lows in the low 40s, and it's only November, so I may have to start building my frame for my cold protection for my tropicals. Because I don't really need it more than usually about a day a year, but if you don't do it for that one day, you'll be sorry. Including these guys. And the last one for today, I have decided to confess, has a whole bunch of weeds, and actually all of them have had some weeds, and I've usually pulled them before I started the camera, but this one I decided just to show you. This one has probably more weeds than any of them. They weren't all this bad. In fact, some of them weren't even, virtually maybe one or two little weeds. Anyway, there we go. Get rid of the weeds. Weeds compete for nutrients and water. So this is another very interesting tree. The only new growth it has since the last time it got cut back is these two guys in the back. So that stuff comes off, and then it's got a decent enough shape. I don't like this branch here either because it's shooting straight up, unless like we wanted to go like that and turn that into the apex. And I think it's established enough where we've got branching that we want the apex to be up into here. I could conceivably take this tree, let's get rid of some of these leaves, take this is the apex up into here, and bring it back up as an informal upright, because right now it's all kind of slanting. And another thing, there's a little bit of growth right here, then we have this potential apex, and then we have this thicker piece in the middle. And I think I'm going to take that thicker piece out right now. There. So that cleans it up. So now we have, first main branch, second main branch, and the apex. And I don't really even need to bring the apex up. I can cut it to right there. And this bud, this little tiny bud right here, will follow this leaf, so it will come up into here. So that's the difference between clip and grow method versus wiring. And I use a combination of both. Really just all depends. I don't think this tree needs to grow bigger as far as putting it in a much bigger pot and getting, a big thick trunk. But I don't think it's going in a bonsai pot in the spring either. I give it some more time to develop that apex and get some more ramification on the branches. And so that's number 6 on a cool morning in November. So thank you so much for watching. I think I've got 2 more days of doing these guys because I had 30 of them. And I've been blessed by being able to buy the lot next to me. So I live in a house on a lot, and then I bought the lot to the east of me. So this is where I'm doing almost all of my growing, is in that spare lot. So I have a lot of space, so I can grow a lot of things. And I just don't do bonsai. I love flowers. I have an extensive flower garden that's just all seedlings now, but once it's in full bloom, it should be very interesting. Maybe I'll show you that. And I used to grow a lot of vegetables, but vegetables have been a bust for me lately. And of course I have, let me see, do I do this row with vegetables or do I put up another bonsai bench? And you can tell who won. So my vegetable garden has slowly been swallowed up by bonsai, which is okay with me. No big deal. So thanks for watching, and please give me a thumbs up. I know this might be a little redundant, but like I've said in some other videos, 2 or 3 years from now when we see these trees really developed, we can go back to these videos and see the origins. So that's why I'm doing this. So bear with me if you're saying, oh, not again, not more Parrot's Beak. I would swear after the next couple days I will do something different. I promise. So if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, I will prove that to you. And that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.